No, it's consistently one of the top 5 fears, the fear of flying, but one pilot's making it his life mission to help people soar, including a local mom. Fox 8's Suzanne Stratford has that story.
Some people are nervous.
I try to avoid flying.
Wendy Borkey is terrified.
Very difficult, very shaky, don't like to talk to people. Been praying the whole time.
And when she finally flew to California,
Was 9/11. That really just messed with me. We ended up driving home. We never got back on the plane because I couldn't do it.
but her husband dreamed of seeing Hawaii.
And I thought, why can't I do this? And my friends would go and fly places, and I would envy them. Like, boy, I wish I could just jump on a plane, and not think anything of it.
But she's definitely not alone.
Researchers estimate that about 25 million people in the United States suffer from aerophobia, usually between the ages of 17 and 34.
When you get a little older, you realize you can't control everything. Uh-oh, I've got to be careful about getting on an airplane.
Former military and retired commercial pilot Tom Bunn became a licensed counselor to help people with aerophobia.
They could think of 1,000 things that could go wrong. I decided maybe I could just train people to redirect their thoughts.
He founded SOAR, online counseling courses and informational videos, including one on JELLO.
People look up in the air and see a plane up there and they don't see anything holding it up. So if you don't see anything holding it up, it should fall, right? So the JELLO exercise is to try to give people some way of conceptualizing something is holding the plane there.
And how air becomes thicker the faster you travel supporting the plane.
If you get in a car and put your hand out the window at 50 miles an hour, air is about as substantial as water. But if you get to the speed that the plane's going to take off at, it's like JELLO. If you pick up the plate and shake it, you can't shake the fruit loose.
He goes over safety stats and the SOAR app so they can track their flight's path turns and turbulence in real time, so there are no surprises. And they get a prescription to meet the pilot.
And so if we meet the pilot who has the control, then we feel much better about it. If I think of anything that bothers me, I'll just remember their face and their voice.
But he says it's another face that truly helps people conquer this fear.
I stumbled on finding that if people linked being on the plane with a person who completely accepts you, it activates your calming system.
He says just thinking of a loved one who loves you unconditionally triggers a person's parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body down after stress or danger.
So if you link the troubling moments of flight to the memory of a person's face who completely accepts you, that person's face and voice and touch comes to mind, and it inhibits the trouble. It's amazingly effective.
Tom says it has helped over 5,000 people. But what about Wendy?
He's walking you through that over and over again to try to connect pleasant feelings, pleasant memories with flying.
Doing the course online from her home in Cleveland.
You're looking at these different pictures of the flight, from the airport to the runway, packing, all these things. He's kind of desensitizing your fears.
Leading up to that Hawaiian vacation.
Like my heart was racing a little bit. Once I actually talked to the pilot, I was fine.
For over 4,500 miles.
Like as soon as you have that fear, that response, like to turn it around, to you're focusing on something, again, positive.
No fuss, no muss. Just one happy traveler.
In fact, when we came back home, when we landed, I looked at him, I said, okay, when are we doing this again?
In Cleveland, Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
That's awesome. SOAR offers multiple free tools and videos online for people with mild aerophobia, and then licensed counseling for those with a more serious fear of flying. For details, go to fox8.com.